Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft World War Remastered! Today, it's going to be a fastest map match between HamburgerSasu and 111, 213, 141, 516, 171. We're going to call him, let's say, 171. Bottom right-hand corner, we have a teal Zerg player. It is HamburgerSasu. Haven't seen him on the channel for a while. And in the bottom left, we have the red Terran player. It is 171. Alright, so Overlord scouting the complete opposite direction of where the other player has spawned. And this, again, is a fastest map replay. I haven't cast one of these in a while. I got this from RJB. If you like fastest map, you need to subscribe to him over at RJB TV. Just go ahead and search RJB TV in your YouTube search machine, and you will find him. Alright, so Zerg versus Terran. Terran and Zerg are both fairly weak in the early stages of the game, Protoss being very strong. But if you leave them alone, they can grow into an extremely powerful enemy. Alright, so it's a 1440 P cast here today, and let's see here. I'm planning on doing 1440p for the... I don't know, at least until... a higher resolution monitor arrives at my house. Let's just say that. Wow, is this a double? Whoa! 2-hatch opening here versus a 2-racks opening here from 171. Oh man, HamburgerSasu is going to be in trouble if he's not ready for the Marines that are going to show up. How? Okay, hang a second. Hang on a second. Why didn't you check here? As long as you're checking this direction. Why'd you check the bottom right-hand corner? He knows where he is now based on that Overlord position. So, I mean, it totally paid off for him. And check this action out. That pool is not even halfway done. There's already Marines streaming across the map. At the moment, this is going to be really tight for HamburgerSasu. Can he hold is the question you're all asking right now. Is this a 3-minute replay that RJB sent me? I don't know. Maybe it is. Probably not, though. Those aren't very fun replays to cast. So yeah, I mean, spawning pool, immediately a creep colony, and timing it so when the spawning pool finishes, we can go ahead and sunken that thing. Oh, he's just bunkering here at the choke. I'm kind of surprised he's not sticking his nose in here, because honestly, God, if he had just sent these 2 Marines down... That's a really good sunken location, though. It's going to cover pretty much everything in this area. Cover all of the drones very well. There's probably an area down here the Marines could sit and hit this hatchery, but that's not as big of a concern. The concern right now is losing drones. Lings popped out. He recognizes I got scouted early. I was greedy. I'm going to need something to stay alive here. And look at this contain out of 171. This is great. I like this play. Just the early units are Lings, right? Lings can't get through this. Lings are best when they can get a surround on the thing they're attacking. And if this is some kind of a wall, no surround is going to be possible here. Oh man, I don't think these Lings even want to get anywhere near this bunker position. SCV's trying to build something else. Get out, the Marines are in the way. Get out of the way, Marines. We're trying to build, like, I don't know, another supply depot here or something. Is he not? Interesting. He's putting a factory right here? Well, that's ballsy. That is a gutsy play here out of our Terran. He's going for stim. He's getting some medics. There are a lot of Lings out because, again, this is fastest map. This is a mineral field worth 50,000 minerals that is stacked on several mineral fields that are worth 50,000 minerals. So basically, it's unlimited resources. All right, this is HamburgerSasu jumping on it, getting a surround on it with all of these Zerglings. Remember what I said about getting a surround on this stuff? That is how Zerglings do, and the surround was possible. And 171 has to get out of there. That is... Good heavens, come on. What was that? What the heck was that? Oh, man. I'm really surprised that they could get the surround on everything that way. And then the giant Ling counterattack is here. We got some firebats. We got some medics. This is going to have to do. Firebats. Getting out there, stimming in, whoosh, whoosh. Oh, and the burrow. Oh, and the burrow. I did not see burrow come through that production tab. There's a lair on the way, though. That's exciting stuff. Okay, so the splash damage is actually injuring the burrowedlings. These guys want to take down the factory. They're probably not going to be able to. The burrow at this point is more annoying than game-winning, I think. Especially because the splash damage, right? Yeah, the splash damage is really, really nice in this situation. God, then they burrow! HamburgerSasu, you cheeky lad! This is so awesome. It's again, awesome, not exactly game-ending style stuff here at all. Zerglings going after a machine shop. This is some really micro-heavy play. Hamburger sitting at 400 APM at the moment. Man, if you got an engineering bay and a turret, or like, I don't know, maybe we made a comsat station here, that'd be pretty cool. This... These lings are so annoying. Spire coming up for the Zerg player, taking 2 additional gases. Sitting at 23 workers here. Really did sacrifice a lot of economy to get this many Zerglings out, but I think he's getting his money's worth. He's keeping the Terran player in his base. 171 doesn't want to move out at all with his 340 APM. He's trapped. He is trapped in here. SCV going for the scout, recognizing you probably don't have a million lings, right? Right? You probably wanted to drone up after making the 40 lings that you made and sent them after us. Honestly, though, I think an engineering bay, there you go, would be great. And there it is. You can get upgrades from it, too. It's not just... Not just for the detection purposes. Oh, good heavens. This is funny. This is some funny stuff here. Zergling just scouting, really, trying to stay alive and failing miserably at that goal in his life. Armory, missile turret coming in. These fare thee well, you Zerglings. You're all dead starting right now. You didn't even kill any more Terran units. How horrible. But guess who's on the way? The Hydralisk flock. So the missile turrets provide both detection and some really good anti-air. Irradiate's being researched by 171, but it will not be done for some time. So here's the turret. Here are the Marines. They have the stim. They don't have any upgrades yet other than stim because obviously the engineering bay just finished and he's working on +1. So Muta's playing the game. Taking some hits. Trying to keep that Marine count low. And we are definitely going... Is this going to be a mass Hydra play? We are going for Hydra speed and Hydra range pretty quickly. If he already went for a lurker aspect, I'll keep an eye on that. We do get Valkyries, though. Oh my gosh. We're getting so many fun units on the channel recently. I don't know what it is. This is fantastic. Yeah, turret positioning here is really, really important. Pow, 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 pow. Like, your trade, it's trades, right? You're losing a couple Mutalisks here and there. You're taking down a couple SCVs, a couple Marines here and there. Maybe a Firebat. We've got our Valkyrie out, which is always very fun. Her fastest map. Yeah, the Muta's not doing super well. This is a lot of Marines on the ground right now. And they almost have +1, but not quite yet. I kind of want to see the Valkyries get into this. He's making more Valks. Like, he expects there to be more Mutalisk production, but there's totally not. This is all the Mutas I think we're probably going to see for the rest of the game. Maybe a couple more to take down Science Vessels that have been plagued. I assume we're going to get to that point here. You know, at the 8-minute mark, that's what we're rolling with. We're already to that tier 3 tech. So the Valkyrie's getting some nice splash. And this is where the Mutas are like, okay, we're heavily outnumbered. There's only 4 of us. The Valkyries will ruin our day. And then the Mass Hydra just wanders in against Siege Tank Marine. What an interesting strategy here. These aren't lurkers, man. This is just, strangely enough, Mass Hydra against Terran. Look at this. They're taking down Siege Tanks. The Valkyries are utterly useless versus this many Hydralisk. This is crazy pants. This Hydra timing attack is great. I mean, maybe focus down a science vessel or get the whole science facility. That'd be pretty awesome. Taking down a science facility would really, really slow down the ability to get a whole ton of science vessels out here. Turrets getting focused. Is he seriously? He's seriously not going for lurker aspect against all of this bio. It's very strange. Maybe he knows. Maybe he knows we're going to go for a mech transition. And lurkers aren't going to be as good anymore. But it's a hive on the way back, or on the way back at the Zerg homeworld. These Hydras doing all right. Trying to supply block 171. Going to be a difficult task. These Hydralisks rather darting down the right side. Getting Charon boosters and spider mines. So I really feel like we're meching it here. See, the Marines are trading well. They have +1. They have stim. They have the range upgrade. These are fast Hydras with good range, but they don't have any attack or armor upgrades at all. And finally, lurker aspect gets started here. I don't know, like once the tanks siege up, the Hydras, it's a little bit more dangerous for them, but if they can't actually directly hit the tanks, then they're going to be fine. Look at this. Man, keeping that tank count low. This is almost a Protoss approach to playing against Terran, who's meching, is just showing up, sacrificing a ton of your, you know, your mid-level units, your Dragoons, your Hydralisk, to make sure the tank count doesn't get up to 1 billion siege tanks. And you're going to be happy about things, right? Defiler round on the way. 2 siege tanks, though, protected by a handful of Marines. This has been an incredibly low army worker count game. Although 171 is at 54 workers and Hamburger's at 23. So we are in a bit of a problematic situation right now for the Zerg player. He is just not doing well economically. He doesn't have a lot of hatcheries either. He's on 4 hatches at 11 minutes. Which seems low. He's really wanted to kill 171 fast. He doesn't want to get into late game versus a big, huge Terran army with 37 siege tanks and Goliaths protecting them and science vessels for the irradiate, right? That's where things get tough. But Consume is on the way. Defiler tech's coming up. Not that Dark Swarm is great when there's 1 million siege tanks out. But there's only 6, so it feels more manageable. Scourge party. Just, oh my, oh yes, that's a Scourge party. Okay. The 2 Scourge, not a Scourge party on their own, but there are now 7 or 8 of them, and that's a good number. So now the contain, the reversal is complete. The Terran player was containing, and now the Zerg player is trying to contain with all of his lurkers. But guess what? Siege tanks, bruh. We're going for it. Ooh, pow, pow, pow. The Hydralisk trying to focus down those tanks. Lings jumping on top of the tanks. And 171 gets absolutely obliterated. Science vessels going down. Valkyrie getting sniped. And Hamburger with the larger army value doing it. Right? 171 has the better economy. But the bigger army value here is belonging to the Zerg player. He's making some more, 6 more lurkers in particular. Got more Valkyries on the way, which I don't think I completely agree with you on that one. Traditional Valkyries, because what are they for? Overlords, I guess. Do you think they're, I mean, like, do you think there are Mutalisks on the field? Is that what we're doing right now? Because the answer is no. They're just, maybe they're trying to take down, jeez. Okay, this is quite the engagement as well. Dark Swarm up, Lings jumping in. Lurkers jumping. Dark Swarm is a huge problem right now for everything the Terran player has. The Scourge are trying to hit the science vessels. They do take, my gosh, all 2 of them down. Are we done with science vessels right now? This has been some incredible Zerg play out of HamburgerSasu. But I just can't shake the feeling that the longer the game goes on, the worse it is for Hamburger. And again, he's trying to win this thing fast, is what he's trying to do. And whether or not that works out for him, we're going to have to wait and see. He does have Dark Swarm and Lurkers set up directly on the production factories of the Terran player, so that's not good for 171. Yeah, this is problematic. Oh, is he trying to get Goliaths on the high ground? Tanks on the high ground. I feel it could be pretty awesome too. Oh my gosh, the Dark Swarm. The trail here is just leading directly into Terranville. It's not going well for 171 whatsoever. Can he hold this off? He's got a bunch of siege tanks. He's got a bunch of Goliaths. The splash damage is causing some problems for these lurkers for sure. Just random defilers wandering over to the Terran side of the map. What he could really use here is some irradiate. Oh man, they are not on top of the SCVs. There's 68 SCVs. There's 61 SCVs. Okay, that was a good pull. That was a great pull of the workers there. The poor Goliaths are engaging with... Oh, hang on. The Dark Swarm wore off. Get them! All right, so lurkers in a lot of trouble here. Science vessels have shown up. They don't have enough energy to irradiate at all. That is a 14-kill lurker we're dealing with, friends. And 171 is down to 48 SCVs. So these spines, you know, they haven't, like, destroyed the entire economy. Oh, they're all stacked up. Get a no! Why? It wasn't safe. 171's down to 34 SCVs. Okay, well, I mean, why is he killing his own Hydralisk then? What did it ever do? Whatever. Hamburger's up to 64 workers. 171 is at 38 SCVs because he couldn't handle the lurkers that kept getting closer and closer to his mineral field. Losing those two science vessels early were that was such a blow to his ability to win this game. It's a Scourge chase. It's a Scourge chase. And that's it. We'll just kill a couple Valkyries and call it good. Everything's fine. So, I mean, the good news here for the Terran player is he's still got 3 command centers. He's able to pump out SCVs 3 at a time, which is great. 4 at a time. My apologies. Got this one down here, too. Put these guys on work, though. Maybe this on work, maybe this on work, maybe this is repairing, but this guy can go to work. He's got a lot of idle SCVs. And are these guys idle, too? Dude, but for real, 171, I need you to put your guys on minerals at the moment. I know you're spending your money. It's great. You have a lot of tanks in production, a lot of science vessels in production. That is part of how you win this game. Okay, so he puts a bunch of them on work here. He's up to 55 workers again. And 171 going for the counterattack with all of the siege tanks. He's lost a bunch of them today, but they have +2 attack, which is great. The tech here really just seems to be Lurker Hydra, which the more tanks there are, the worse this strategy is against the tanks and the Goliaths and the science vessels and everything else. So 171 is somehow maxed out. Did that just allow him to make more things? Okay, that's a free defiler. Okay, so there we go. Finally gets a Dark Swarm up. It was too good to be true, man. Why are these tanks alone? I know it's 193 to 111 supply, but free siege tanks is not the way you win this game. 171, you have a massive advantage. Use it. Okay, so all these tanks just die. These tanks... Oh, another Dark Swarm. He's trying to get out of the Dark Swarm hell that he's found himself in. And it's kind of working a little bit here, but he's in range of a Sunken, which is not ideal. This siege tank trying to get shots off on the drone count, but great drone pull. Still at 59 workers. I gotta say, HamburgerSasu did great there, but 171 splitting up his forces like that just allowed Hamburger to move up here and kill this group, and then move down here and kill this group, instead of having to deal with them all at the same time, which I think would have been more difficult for him to handle. It's still 192 to 112 total supply. Like, Hamburger went for an early, low econ attack, all in, trying to kill the Terran player, and now he's in a little bit of trouble. Army supply so much bigger for the Terran. 2-1 upgrades for his mech. The Hydras are sitting at 1-1 upgrade, so they are behind on that one. Zergling's also at 1-1. The high ground siege tanks that are considered imbalanced. I know RGB personally hates this map for that reason. It's not just the PokerFace map. There's other ones out there that have this problem. Joe. It's a good contain. It is really hard to get out of here with just Hydras. versus tanks in these high ground positions. More tanks would be nice. Oh, then he's going to set him up over on this. This is so good. This is good. 171. Maybe going to come back. Irradiates that Defiler right into the ground. He ends up injuring a Hydralisk before he goes out. Burrow, good upgrade. Is he going to set... He's going to set siege tanks up here, man. He's going to do it. What are these drones? Are these drones? Well, you can't come over here now. This is not a place to be. A round of mutas does come out. Trying to handle these siege tanks, but Hamburger, I don't know, man. He's letting this get set up in a very, very scary way. Nice irradiate. Not splitting. There we go. Does split it off accurately. Another irradiate sure would be nice right here. And he does get another irradiate in there. Siege tanks coming in on the low ground, though. The muta's all in a lot of trouble. Siege tanks firing on that Defiler mound. Ling's trying to jump on top of these guys, and they're going to do a great job getting rid of the low ground siege tanks anyway. The high ground siege tank, a bit more of a problem for sure. Move the science vessel up a little bit so you can take down these lurkers, please. There we go. Oh, the Dark Swarm is up again. Dark Swarm is a good unit, and Hamburger's up to 183 supply now. Was there a window and 171 failed to take advantage? It's possible, but man, this looks like a really, really hard contain to break. However, that's a lot of Mutalisks. That is a murder. It is a murder of Mutalisks, officially. Like 12 mutas? No. But this... Oh! Is he going? Is he going for the infested command center bomb? I don't know what else he'd be going for here with a couple queens and all of these Mutalisks. Devourer's in production here too. Alrighty then. Here goes nothing. Here goes nothing. Hamburger throwing out the bad manner. I think that is. Infested Command Center number 1. He gets it. Infested Command Center number 2. He gets it. Infested Terran Command Center number 3. And can we get number 4, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, we can. Oh, that's it. That's it. That's your game. He just took down every one of the command centers that 171 is rolling with. Gets out of there with 2 of his queens and a bunch of his Mutalisks. Lifts off the command centers and flies them away. Hamburger has some Korean to toss in. Oh, it's 160 to 123 supply. Oh, so many SCVs died. We're down to 11 SCVs. Like, that did not only infest all of the command centers that Hamburger owns, it also killed a bunch of his SCVs. I mean, 171 is trying to make stuff happen. I think, there you go. 171, GG's out, leaves the game. I'm pretty sure this right here is just it's a face, right? It's an emoji. For the Korean HamburgerSasu. Wow, that... I can understand. I can understand why RJB sent that one to me all months ago at this point. It's just, it's just been sitting in my replay folder for some time, but man, the quadruple command center infestation. That's a rarity. That is a rare thing to see in life. Oh, these things got plagued as well. Okay, well, they're all dead. Amazing. And an amazing, amazing game from Hamburger. The early pressure with the Hydras is great. The Lurkers getting in here and destroying the economy of 171 was incredibly key to him winning this game. Even then, when it was double the supply, when it was 171 was at 200 supply, Hamburger was at maybe 110, 111. He still didn't panic. He still didn't try to jump in here and kill these tanks early. He let them set up on this high ground. He made a huge round of Mutalisks, and he destroyed them on the high ground. And then again, I really feel like 171 made a mistake trying to split up his forces, coming down the left side and coming down that top side instead of just all together now, right? Maybe a huge line of tanks, harder for Hamburger to deal with, but he's got more experience than I do, so it's hard for me to critique him too much. And by him, I mean him, 171. Because by golly, his APM was dead impressive. All right, that was an amazing game. Let's check out the final score and we'll get out of here. 209,000 points here for 171. 226,000 points rather for HamburgerSasu. Produced and killed ratio here, pretty commiserate with the TVZ. I gotta say, nothing too strange here. The raised count is nuts. Hamburger didn't lose hardly any buildings at all, only 2. And then the resources fairly even, which generally is not very good for the Zerg player, but man, the cost effectiveness of the Dark Swarms combined with the Lurkers and the Hydras, plus all that splash damage on the SCV count, it was good. The cost effectiveness was good for Sasu in a situation where it's generally not, which is ZVT. Fantastic work there from HamburgerSasu, but what else did we expect when we clicked on this game? It was a Hamburger game, right? He has not disappointed yet, I don't think, in any of the games that I've cast. So, all right, excellent stuff. So that right there is going to be it for me. This has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft Brood War Remastered and a fastest map replay from RJB. Go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.